Hello, everyone. Today, I am going to talk about something many people still do not fully understand. What is happening right now between the United States, Iran, and Israel is not just another conflict in the Middle East. It may become the turning point that reshapes the global balance of power for many years to come. Most people believe this is simply a military confrontation. But behind it lies something much bigger involving oil, the United States dollar, global trade routes, and the future of American dominance around the world. When the conflict first escalated, many hardliners in Washington and Israel believed Iran would collapse quickly under pressure. They thought that by destroying several military facilities, eliminating key leaders, and tightening economic sanctions, Tehran would eventually surrender. Hawkish voices constantly pushed for stronger military action, claiming Iran was weak and would fall apart within days. But reality unfolded very differently. Iran did not collapse. Instead, it demonstrated a significant ability to absorb pressure while maintaining strategic control over the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important energy choke points on Earth. Nearly 1/3 of the world's oil supply moves through that narrow waterway. The moment tensions there intensified, global markets began to shake. If Hormuz were blocked for only a short period of time, oil prices could spiral out of control. European economies would struggle with energy shortages. Asian manufacturing chains would face massive disruptions, and inflation could surge across the world again. More importantly, the United States dollar itself could face enormous pressure if countries begin searching for alternative payment systems outside American financial control. Over the past weeks, the United States tried nearly every form of pressure available. Airstrikes intensified, military assets flooded into the region, and threats escalated daily. Yet Iran refused to back down. Reports also began emerging about military operations that did not go according to plan. There were rumors of failed rescue missions, destroyed aircraft, and covert operations ending in disaster. These developments reportedly forced Washington to confront a dangerous reality. A full-scale war with Iran would be nothing like Iraq or Afghanistan. Iran possessed difficult terrain, decentralized military structures, and a network of allied forces stretching across the region. If a wider war erupted, conflict could spread simultaneously through Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and beyond. The risk of a regional explosion became too large to ignore. One of the biggest turning points reportedly came during Donald Trump's visit to China. Many strategists in Washington believe Beijing would pressure Iran to step back in order to protect Chinese economic interests. Instead, the opposite appeared to happen. China continued maintaining cooperation with Tehran while securing its own energy routes. Reports suggested Chinese vessels were still able to move through Hormuz under special arrangements. This shattered the American strategy of isolating Iran internationally. At that moment, Washington reportedly realized something extremely important. The United States no longer has the same ability to force the rest of the world to follow its agenda as it once did. That realization is believed to be one of the reasons secret negotiations accelerated behind the scenes. Multiple sources now suggest that the United States and Iran are moving closer toward a temporary agreement. The framework could include a reduction in hostilities, the reopening of maritime traffic through Hormuz, limited sanctions relief for Iran, and broader negotiations over the nuclear issue. But Iran is no longer negotiating from a position of weakness. Tehran understands that control over Hormuz has become its most powerful strategic card. As long as instability threatens that region, the entire global economy remains vulnerable. Meanwhile, Israel is facing its own difficult situation. After months of pushing for confrontation, leaders in Tel Aviv reportedly recognize that they cannot sustain a major conflict with Iran without direct and overwhelming American support. But Washington itself no longer appears eager to become trapped in another endless Middle Eastern war. This has created growing tensions behind the scenes between the United States and Israel. Hardliners in Washington are furious over the possibility of negotiations with Iran, seeing diplomacy as weakness and strategic defeat. Yet after weeks of escalation, they still failed to achieve their original objectives. Iran remains standing. Hormuz remains a pressure point. energy markets remain unstable, and the threat of wider war still hangs over the region. Perhaps the most important consequence of this crisis is that it has exposed the limits of American power for decades. Washington was seen as the unmatched global superpower, capable of shaping world order through military force. But this conflict has demonstrated that there are wars. Even the United States cannot simply bomb its way through. That is why many analysts believe this moment could become a historic inflection point for the global order itself. A new world may already be emerging, one where China expands its influence, Russia maintains strategic leverage, Iran proves difficult to isolate, and the United States is forced to reconsider how it projects power across the world. Yet, despite the possibility of negotiations, the situation remains extremely dangerous. One unexpected strike, one political provocation, or one sabotage attempt by hardliners on any side could destroy the entire peace process overnight. The Middle East today resembles a massive powder keg that has not yet been fully diffused. And what many people still do not realize is that this conflict is not only about Iran or Israel anymore. It may ultimately determine the future of American power, the future of the United States dollar, and the future stability of the global economy itself.